Hey everyone, it's the one and only magnificent bird, Beak, speaking to you today. And in today's video, I will once again be going over the Walking Dead City Season 2 in another spoiler review. And oh man, oh man, oh man. What an episode. I know I said it last week with episode 4, but this just might be the best episode of the season this far. Maybe. It definitely blows the premiere. Oh, well, I don't know if it blows the premiere away, but I mean, certainly episode 2. I don't know. So far, episode 2 might be in last place, but I'm not going to rank the episodes yet until the season has concluded. And what can I say as little as possible before we get into the spoilers? Well, we had two, maybe three major deaths tonight. Yeah, I know that sounds like a whole lot, but that's all I can say. Without getting into specifics, one of them I don't know if you would say is a major death, but this particular person I would say is a major death for this particular episode. But that's all I can really say to avoid spoilers. So yeah, I say definitely 2, maybe 3. We'll see what happens next week. But I'm gonna say 3, but I could end up being wrong on that. But anyway, before we get started, I hope all of you are doing good and staying safe out there. And I hope y'all enjoyed my latest angry grandma reaction. I thought it was a pretty good one, honestly. And like always, if you liked the video, leave a like, leave a comment down below. And if you aren't subscribed already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Turn on all notifications so you know the second I upload to YouTube. And if you want to share the video, that would be great too. If you do any of those things, that would be very much appreciated. Now, as you can see, as you can see in the thumbnail, this is going to be the thumbnail. Rats and Mazes and Trouble in Paradise. Once I get into the spoilers, that will make much more sense. Although the rats, that shouldn't be no surprise. I did forget to mention in last week's spoiler review, it's not like a big deal, but it kind of is that I forgot it. But last week when they met Bruegel, he had fed Negan, Dama, Croat fried rats, or no, not fried rats, but grilled rats, and they still had the tail on them. And oh god, like that was, I don't know how in the hell I forgot to mention that. But anyway, so if you do not want to know anything about this episode, and if you're not caught up, I would highly recommend clicking off the video now and then watching the episode, and then come back if you would like to, because this episode, yeah, has some deaths for sure. So that's all I can say. I'm not going to say who until we get into it. So if you don't want to know anything, if you're not caught up, this is the time to go ahead and click off the video and leave, and then maybe come back if you want to once you caught up with the episode. And if you are leaving, I do thank you for your time and thank you for your support, and I'll catch you next time. Now, for those that want to stay and you are caught up with the episode, or you just don't care and you want to hear what I have to say anyway, thank you for sticking with me on this. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started in 3, 2, 1. Alright, here is the Walking Dead City Season 2, Episode 5, The Bird Always Knows spoiler review. So, yeah, we're gonna we're gonna get into those, we're gonna get into it. So, yeah. So, as we all know, Negan is ready for the Dama to hold her end of the bargain, but she has one last job for him to complete, which would have been successful if not for the Croat. It's time for Negan to put an end to the Croat and the Dama's alliance. That's what I was talking about. Trouble in Paradise. Oh yeah, Negan definitely stirs the pot in this episode. Oh man, it's a masterclass. Motherfucker, it's wonderful. We're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it. So, the war for the methane has hit an all-time low, placing Maggie and Herschel's life in immediate danger, which we're going to get into that as well. The episode starts with the Croat just shopping around for a new suit while an armed guard is outside guarding. And this is 6th Avenue, one of the places in Manhattan that has power. And the guard, you see these 3 people. They have these like makeshift weapons. Well, it's going to be more than just 3 people, but at first you see these 3 people sneaking around, and then next thing you know, somebody is throwing a tomahawk at the guard outside. Well, like a hatchet or tomahawk, whatever you want to call it. A tomahawk is thrown at the guard, and he is killed by, yeah, like I said, a mysterious group who manages to enter one of the methane locations and cuts the power to it in a small section of the city. So there's no power where the Croat lives. I'm assuming that's where he lives. And yeah, no electricity, nothing. And I thought maybe for a second, is that Maggie and Armstrong? Then then once I saw like way more than 3 of them, I'm like, okay, no, that's clearly not Maggie and Armstrong. So we potentially might find out who that was that did that. So yeah, so after the Dama finds out, the Dama who has been teaching a rat to make its way through a maze, because Negan like goes up to the door and like hears Dama talking, and I thought like she was talking to Croat, but he opens the door silently, and her focus is so much on she is so focused on that rat in the maze, she doesn't even hear the door open, and he just like closes it. So there you go. So yeah, Dama has been teaching a rat to make its way through a maze and is far from pleased, blaming the Croat, who she wants to investigate and fix the problem about whoever cut the power. So yeah, we're probably gonna find out. While Bruegel may have joined forces with the Dama, they still need Christos's group. Negan has already upheld his end of the bargain and wants himself and his family free. She agrees under the condition that he convinces Christos to join them. Dama makes it abundantly clear that she does not want the Croat getting involved at all. So remember that. You gotta remember that Negan is still obviously worried about his family, and Negan is like, asking Dama, if I get Christos's group to join, I'm free to go, my family's free to go. And she says, yes, if you can get Christos to join up with us and Bruegel. So keep that in mind. So, okay, so Negan knows this will be no easy feat, as Christos was the one who recently lost his home to Bruegel, which was talked about in the last episode, that Christos and Bruegel had a bet, and Bruegel ended up winning the bet, and Christos's former place that he would call home. And okay, he lost his home to Bruegel and was embarrassed in front of everybody at the cathedral in the season premiere. But Negan's luck changes. So Negan and all of those guys that you primarily see in the thumbnail, for the most part, end up going to Christos's, where he now resides, as what he calls home. So, Christos is like, you made a big fucking mistake coming here, and that, you're in my house now, that you embarrassed me in front of my men. But all of a suddenly, yeah, like I was saying, Negan's luck changes when Christos's little girls interrupt the meeting accidentally, just going there, like they was probably playing tag or something, and they just happened to come in there. So, there you go. Now, Negan, revealing to Negan a room filled with children and women, and it just looks like it looks like a family is in there that Christos is looking after. So Negan suddenly understands Christos's situation, seeing him in a different light, because he's now looking after women and children, something that Negan can easily sympathize with. So, yeah, now I think Negan feels a little bad for what he did in the premiere, but he didn't know that he was taking care of women and children under his protection. So, there you go. So now he's going to take a new approach, no tricks, no showsmanship, just pure honesty. Negan tries to convince Christos to join them because of the unfortunate reality that someone someday will try to take everything away from Christos. There is safety in numbers, but just as everything was finally coming together, and Christos, it seemed like he was coming around and gonna probably work something out with Negan, the Croat shows up to ruin everything. Apparently, when he was investigating the methane attack to the group that cut the power, he found a knife that belonged to Christos's group. Now, before I get into it further, Christos does mention that Bruegel and him had an alliance, had a trade agreement, but eventually it wasn't enough for Bruegel. He wanted to take their things, their weapons, just, so that might kind of tell you that who might have cut the power. Because when Croat comes in there, throwing accusations around at Christos for cutting the power, Christos is like, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. So it seems like maybe Christos is telling the truth, because you got to remember what I just said. Bruegel and Christos, they made trade agreements, but then Bruegel eventually took all of their weapons. So I think that for whatever reason, Bruegel is putting the blame on Christos's group. Yeah, it was one of Christos's weapons, but like Christos said, Bruegel took their weapons. So, but I don't think Croat is even coming. He's just assuming that it's just because it's his weapon that they did it. because Croat says that you know something about circuit allergy or something like that. He's like you knew where our methane location was, and he's like I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Whatever he thinks he's fucking wrong. So, but by then it's too late to save them, as everyone in the room, including Negan, starts passing out and fainting. Well, gets sick and faints from the methane. Negan had brought methane tanks as a gift, but never noticed they were turned on the entire time. They probably just barely turned them on, but when Croat got there, he cranked them all the way up. And so all of Christos and all of his men and his two German shepherds are all passed out, and they take Negan back to Croat's car. Yeah, Negan is pulled away while the Croat and his people kill everyone in the room. And I bet that motherfucker even killed the dogs. Like, ooh, right now, if I could, if that is the case, which I believe that with the Croat, ooh, I would want to rip that motherfucker's throat out with my bare hands, because, like, you want to kill Christos, cool, but you gonna fuck with you gonna kill dogs, like, just because, yeah, no, you don't deserve to walk more than a few steps, in my opinion. But anyway, so when the Croat gets back, he ensures Negan that he spared the women and children, which we don't know. We don't know. We don't even know if he killed the two dogs, which he probably fucking did, but I don't know. Did he spare the women and kids? The women and children? I don't know. I don't know. He might be that fucking sick, dude. I don't know. Even if they are alive, they're absolutely helpless. So, I don't know. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I don't know. When they arrive back at the theater, Negan pulls the Croat aside to reassure him he'll take his side, reminding him once more that the Dama does not and will never appreciate him. She values that fucking rat more than him. Sure enough, when they speak with Dama, Negan tries to vouch for the Croat, but Dama is not hearing any of it. The Croat finally snaps, defending himself, and let me fucking tell you, I never thought I'd see the day where the Croat is standing up to the Dama, yelling at her, and says that all you give a fuck is about that fucking rat. More so than me. Holy shit, oh man, well, to be fair, I was sitting down, but if I had been standing up, I think that would have took me off my feet, maybe, because I was surprised, because he's such a Dama simp most of the time and follows her orders without question. But this is the one time that he stood up and said, you know what, you're gonna shut up, you're gonna listen to me, all you care about is that fucking rat more than anybody else, and I'm getting sick of it. And that stunned Dama, which is fucking crazy. Absolutely crazy. And then she asks to meet him later that night when she believes he'll act more like himself. Now we're going to get to Maggie, Herschel, Armstrong, and what's going on with that group. So, meanwhile, Maggie, Herschel, and Armstrong return to Central Park, where, not surprisingly, Major Asshat had captured the leader, Rokusan, for not complying with the new Babylon Federation. Then that's where she arrests Armstrong for lying about killing Negan, because she's like, we gave you a hero's welcome home about you killing the outlaw Negan, but then that was just a lie the whole time. Yeah, I'm gonna lock you up. Ooh, I wish somebody. Oh, I wish somebody would just put a bullet right between the middle of her eyes, like bam, just like no hesitation. But yeah. Okay, so she arrests Armstrong and also arrests Maggie for bearing false witness because Maggie steps up and says, he did kill Negan. I saw him with, I was there when he killed him. And then naturally, Major Asshat looks over at Jenny and doesn't believe her. And she's like, yeah, arrest her for lying too. So it becomes clear to Maggie that Jenny had told Major Asshat about Negan while Armstrong is locked up with Rokasan, the weird woman who cuts her people's heart out when they die. That lady. So Rokasan is a major character for this episode because she is one of the people to die in this episode, by the way. She's one of the two, possibly three, which will. Anyway, let's stay on track. Okay, so Armstrong is locked up with Rakasan. They discuss how they feel about the situation with Rakasan accepting her fate either way because she could have easily said, yeah, I'll lay down, I'll bow down to the new Babylon, but she's like, no, I'm not. I got some principles, even though I'm weird as fuck. I have my principles about me, and I'll die not turning on the people that I once led. I'm not going to do that shit. I'll die. If I die, I die. Oh well. They're not going to see me become a traitor. I'd rather die than have that happen, pretty much. So, okay, so Major Asshat places Maggie in the hot seat where she needs her to lure Negan and the Croat into a trap while keeping Herschel hostage. Maggie is able to sneak her way back inside because Maggie, Asshat lets her go and she's like, I'll do it, I'll lure Negan and Croat, but then she comes back sometime later. So not Negan, excuse me. Maggie sneaks in and she is going to attempt to kill Major Asshat like somebody should fucking kill her, okay? So now, okay, so Maggie is able to sneak back in and attempts to kill Major Asshat while Herschel distracts her because Herschel sees Maggie coming out of the corner of his eye, so Herschel tries to distract Asshat as best as he can, talking about, Matt Asshat wants to know what's up with Negan and Maggie. Did he love her? Of course not, you fucking dumbass. Negan killed Herschel's father. Like, my God. Like, I can't, I'm sorry, I can't stand this fucking bitch. I know we're supposed to hate the Dama more, but Major Asshat, she really turns it up in this episode. She cranks it up to an 11 for me. I can't fucking stand her. Anyway, so Maggie is able to, she tries to sneak up to Major Asshat and tries to kill her, but of course, fucking Jenny arrives to save Major Asshat. Now Maggie, Armstrong, and Rakasan are going to hang for their quote-unquote crimes. Rakasan is killed shortly because they go outside and they have a rope that they're going to hang all three of them on, and Major Asshat is pretty much like telling Rakasan, this is your last chance to bow down to the new Babylon Federation. And she pretty much says, no thanks, I'm not gonna become a fucking traitor. If I'm gonna die, just go ahead and fucking do it already. Pretty much. I mean, she doesn't say that, but like, she's giving off that vibe. Like, I'm not gonna turn on my people. She's like, I got principles about me, so if you're gonna kill me, just do it, get it over with, blah blah blah, go kick rocks, whatever. So they do hang her, they kill Roxanne, and with Maggie is next in the lineup. When they have Maggie up there, they got the noose around her neck, and yeah, they kick the chair, and Maggie is hanging on there for a minute, but then when all of Roxana's people see that Roxana dies, they do that whole moaning thing real loud, and asshat's like, shut them people the fuck up. What do you expect? You just killed their beloved leader. Do you expect them to just be quiet and accept that you're a fucking bitch? I don't think so. I mean, that's not how. Anyway, so they're so loud with the moaning, like they did in episode 3, that these walkers bust through the gate, and that distracts like pretty much everybody. And not only is Roxana dead, but all of her followers end up biting the dust, as well as when the walkers come in, they all chomp down on all of her followers. That's pretty much the end of them. And yeah, the walkers break in and start killing everyone. The extras get killed off at once too. So yeah, I mean, that's expected to happen. In the chaos, one of the walkers actually jumps on Jenny. Well, not jumps on, but like kind of pounces on Jenny and pushes her up against a tree branch. And it must have been a sharp ass tree branch, because the tree branch cuts a hell of a place in her side. And I thought for a minute that Jenny actually went through the tree branch. If that would have been the case, yeah, she would have been done. But I think once Jenny starts seeing the reality of people getting hung, she's like, yeah, she might have a change of heart at the last second about things. So Jenny actually ends up saving Maggie, who's sitting there hanging, and she also saves Herschel from Major Asshat. And oh man, so no, you know what? No, when all the chaos is going on, Major Asshat is she is holding on to Herschel tight and dragging him with her away. And here we go, Mama Bear, Maggie, Ree is running after Major Asshat, because she's like, my baby boy is in trouble. I'm gonna fuck her up. Even if I gotta fuck her up with my bare hands. You know what? I still kind of like, do I like, you know what? This does get me some brownie points toward Maggie, because she's willing to protect her son. No matter what Negan said about, not being able to trust him, that's her baby boy. So yeah, and then Major Asshat, she's been a fucking bitch. So like it's like triple the points on top of doubled points. But anyway, so they're in this horde of walkers, but then what do you know? Roxana, who got hung earlier, is able to sneak up behind Major Asshat and bites the fuck out of her. Ding dong, the fucking witch is dead. That's it for Major Asshat. Woo, yes. It would have been a little bit more satisfying if Maggie would have been the one to kill her, but you know what? Roxana killing Major Asshat as a walker, I can work with it, dude, because she's pretty much the one that killed Roxana. Now Roxana is now repaying her for that as a walker, because she was stupid enough to not destroy the brain. That's what she fucking gets. And so Major Asshat is gone. She's fucking done. Goodbye. Don't let the door hit you on the ass on the way out. Goodbye. Goodbye. Nice seeing you. Not really. You can tell that I was pretty excited for this death to happen. Oh man, I hated her even more than the Dama. I mean, the Dama is no better, but man, Major Asshat. Oh man, I'll be glad to stop saying that name because I could not give a fuck what her name it was. So yeah, Roxana is eating her, and there's a couple of other walkers that are chowing down on Major Asshat. Goodbye. Goodbye. That's the end. End of the story for her. So, after all of that, Maggie, Herschel, Jenny, and Armstrong, are left, and the obvious thing to do would be to go home, but alas, they still can't because Bruegel just so happens to show up. Okay, so I'm getting a little hit of myself. So yeah, Maggie, asks Herschel one more time about, the woman that you drew, was she really on a billboard like you claimed? But Herschel actually comes clean and says that no, she is real. She was the one that did come to see me, even though the Croat kidnapped me. And he said that the Dama was nice to him, and he said that the Dama wanted to get to know him. So yeah, Herschel comes clean about the Dama and his time spent with her, and he also confesses to starting that fire back in episode 2, like the Dama had said. And next thing you know, after that, you hear this knocking. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, is that Negan? I'm like, no, that don't sound right. So they go out there to investigate, and what do you know? It's Bruegel and his men just so happen to show up at their doorstep, and that's the end of that. So, like, why the hell is Bruegel and his men out there? We'll find out. I'm glad they went with the 8-episode format, because if this would have been 6 episodes, next week would be the season finale. So, I'm honestly glad they did go with the 8-episode format. It gives them a little bit more time to tell more of a story with 8 episodes. Now, will they fumble that? I don't know. I don't want to say yes. I don't know. I'm gonna say no. They're not going to fumble it. It's been great so far. Okay, so now we're gonna get to the meat and potatoes. So Roxanne's dead. Major Asshat is dead. So here's the third possible death. Here we go. That evening. So before we get to this final segment, Dama is, she goes to her room, and someone has killed her pet rat, stepped on it. You got the guts and all that. Like, yeah, so Dama is very upset by that. And we're thinking that, okay, it was obviously Croat that did that, because he had a burst out against Dama and told her that all you care about is that motherfucking rat and nobody fucking else, and I'm sick and tired of it. That would be the most obvious person that Croat snuck into her room after and killed her rat to send a message. Well, we're going to find out. So, that evening, the Croat goes to visit the Dama, where she accuses him of killing her beloved rat because he's knocking on the door and she doesn't respond or anything. And I thought maybe she had offed herself there for a minute. But no, he just opens the door and she's so heartbroken and devastated over her beloved rat, which I'm gonna pause it here, because like, is it the weirdest thing for somebody to have a pet rat? You know what? I don't see it a whole lot, but it's not that weird for somebody to have a pet rat. Hell, I've known people to have pet snakes, pet hamsters, pet gerbils. So like, it happens. It's just not as common because they're just, I don't know. It happens. It People out there have pet rats, believe it or not. It's a thing that happens. I don't know a whole ton of people, but I've seen some people, a couple people have like a pet. I've seen one person have a pet snake. That might be a little more rare just because, like, what if the snake gets out and kills its owner, you know? So, a pet rat, it's not that uncommon. I mean, it's not as common as a cat or a dog, but like, it's not the weirdest thing. People out there have pet rats, believe it or not. So, yeah, the Dama accuses Croat of killing her beloved rat because when he goes in there, she's just sitting at her mirror, not saying anything, and Croat obviously sees that the rat is still there, smushed to pieces, and what starts out as the Croat trying to make peace turns into a full-blown screaming fight. In the process, the Croat pushes. Okay, so what begins the fight? They're yelling at each other. Well, no, Croat is yelling at Dama. Once again, he points his fucking finger at her, and you know what she does? She gets the instinct to try to bite his fucking finger off. I'm like, oh my god, this is something that she did before the apocalypse, and now we're seeing it unfold. I couldn't believe this fucking shit. The Croat and Dama are at fucking odds. Oh man. Those two were as tight as peas in a pod, but this episode, oh boy, unravels all of that because he's pointing at her and saying that, yeah, you know what, you don't care about anybody but that fucking rat, and just, ooh, he points that finger in her face, and she grabs his hand and tries to bite his finger off, and that's when the Croat pushes Dama into this candle that is lit with candles, by the way, and the candles topple over, causing a fire, and she's stuck. So yeah, the Dama is trapped and unable to escape the flames and calls out for the Croat using his real name, Mile, to help her, but he just says, fuck this shit, I'm fucking out. The coward just runs out the fucking door and leaves her to die, to burn up and potentially die. So, yeah, the Dama might be dead. I'm sure the next episode will confirm whether she died or not, but I'm going to say that she died. We'll find out for sure next week, but you could say that maybe she ends up getting help from someone else. Maybe, maybe not. Right now, I'm going to say she's fucking toast. Literally. Because she's trapped. The candles got knocked over, and like the fire is like so close to her, so I don't know. It ain't looking good for Dama. So we do get an answer as to who killed her rat. It wasn't Croat. Croat would have been too obvious because of the outburst earlier, and then them fighting again. Well, they were actually fighting this time, but it was just more of an outburst. So, yeah, Croat is like, okay, bye, bitch. See you later. And just runs out the fucking door. He looks surprised that that happened, but he doesn't even try to save her. He's like, all right, I'm out. Goodbye. I don't know what to tell you. So, yeah, that has Roxana, Major Asshat, and possibly the Dama all did. The Dama, we'll find out for sure next week if she actually does get burnt up. Man, if she doesn't die, she's going to have some serious burns. That's that's for sure. But I think she's a goner. But I guess we'll find out for sure next week. So after that happens, yeah, while all that happened, we get a shot to all of the cells and to the cell that Negan was in, and he's sitting on a box and he's doing something. He's got his knife out and he's cleaning his shoe, and it was revealed that Negan was the one that killed Dama's rat. It wasn't the Croat, it was Negan. And so yeah, so Negan is putting his own plans in motion, stirring the pot, maybe to try to get them to kill each other, because earlier, once Christos and all of his men got killed by Croat, because it was revealed that Dama sent Croat to, we don't know what, but I think, well, Croat might have been lying about that. He might have been taking things into his own hands. So yeah, once Christos and his men are dead, essentially the deal was off that Negan could leave. Well, that deal was off, so that's when Negan is like, all right, bitch, you're not going to let me and my family leave. So, okay, I'm not going to go into an outburst, but that's okay. I'm going to play the long game. I'm going to get you two to start to be into it. Smart on Negan. He might have potentially got rid of his biggest threat in Manhattan. We'll find out next week if the Dama is actually dead. If she is dead, I would imagine the Croat is probably going to take leadership. Oh, man. So, yeah, all of that escalated quickly. And, yeah, Negan is playing the long game. And the Negan was playing the long game with the Croat, and Negan was playing the long game with the Croat and the Dama. Perhaps past Negan would have killed the Croat himself, especially for the stunt that he pulled against Christos. But present Negan has to play the long game to protect his family. And like I said, I don't know. It didn't look good for the Dama. I'm gonna say she's dead, but I mean, maybe they write some kind of way for her to barely survive, and she gets out of that with some severe burns. We'll find out. I don't know. So yeah. So with the drama with the Croat, with the drama of the Croat and the Dama being maybe over, there is a potential other villain that we do have to worry about, which would be Bruegel. So, for whatever reason, Bruegel set up Christos' group, I'm assuming, because you got to think back to what Christos said earlier in the episode. So, yeah, I really enjoyed this episode because not only did Major Asshat get finally, we don't have to see that bitch no more. We don't have to see her no more. Goodbye. And I liked the fact that the Dama and the Croat are now at odds, and the Croat maybe potentially just killed the Dama with what he did when he pushed her into the candles to set a fire. So I don't know. We'll find out. I'm very interested. I have to say that, yeah, Dead City Season 2 absolutely blows away the first season of Dead City. It's not even a discussion at this point. I enjoy this season much more. I'm not gonna lie, I was like, you know what? I kind of have low expectations for this season because I didn't quite enjoy the first season as much as maybe other people did, but I don't know, season 2 is winning me to Dead City. Now, I know that Daryl Dixon will have a season 3 sometime this fall. I hope that they learn and go with 8 episodes. I quite enjoyed Daryl Dixon season 2, but here's the problem. A lot of things felt rushed because they only had 6 episodes to work with. Hell, episode 4, you had Janae get killed, and then episode 5, you had Lo Sang get killed the next episode right before the finale because you had to rush shit. Like, I'm not saying it was bad, but like that is a complaint that people had about Daryl Dixon season 2. There are certain storylines that felt rushed. Like episode 3, you had oh shit, what was her name? Damn it. The one priest, not Isabella, but her friend. Oh, that's pretty bad. I can't remember her name. But anyway, the one priest, or the one nun, I should say, rather, the nun lady, I know I said her name, but oh God, I can't remember it right now. But anyway, that lady ends up falling to her death. And like Lo Sang's people's like, and Lo Sang like himself is like, oh well, she did it to herself. And then the next episode, Isabella gets killed by Lo Sang, and then in the same episode, Janae gets killed by Carol, and then Lo Sang gets killed in the next episode. You have all of these deaths that you have to rush, but with 8 episodes, maybe 9 episodes, they wouldn't have had to rush stuff. They could have spaced out those deaths a little bit more. I think it would have turned out a little bit better than it actually did. Hopefully, Daryl Dixon season 3 will be 8 to 9 episodes. It needs at least 8. Let's not do the 6 crap, okay? Because, like, you're going to have to inevitably rush certain stuff in 6 episodes. So, I really enjoyed this episode. Would I say this is the best episode? Maybe. I would have to think about it. I'm going to give more of a ranking of all of the episodes once the season has concluded. But, yeah, I don't think I have much to say. So, I don't know, this episode, or this video, rather, might come out on Monday. I'm not sure. So, it might come out on sometime on Monday. It's late Sunday night right now. But it's most likely going to be sometime Monday before you guys get to see this. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say about the episode. And I'm interested. I want to hear your thoughts on this episode if you are caught up. Because this was, this was certainly an interesting episode. Things that I didn't think was going to happen happened. Very, very interesting. So, yeah, that's all I got to say about this. I want to thank each and every one of you for stopping by and for your continued support. And if you're new, welcome on in for the first time. I'm glad to have your support and thank you for your time. And I am Buck Beak, and I'm going to go fly away back to my nest. Until next time, bye, guys.